What is going on, investors? Back again. Time to take a look at a long requested video here on Zoom Video, ticker symbol ZM. I actually just had, ironically enough, my first Zoom video call just 2 days ago, actually with Nike. They had a focus group that I was a part of. So I just experienced this product and it was seamless. Let's jump into what is happening today. The stock is up huge today in the regular session, 8%. And you can see here in the after hours, it's up 5%. You might be wondering what has it popping in the after hours. This company just reported earnings. And so we're going to jump into them. Spoiler alert, they're absolutely phenomenal. So we'll jump into what investors are super excited about here. And then finally, we'll jump into the chart. As you can expect, this is like a CRM. This is like a lot of stocks that we've seen. They've popped up and they've gone even higher. So we'll take a look at the stock chart. This is a $90 billion company. They're projecting about $2 billion for this year in earnings. So you're paying a hefty price. You're paying almost, about over 50 times earnings for a company like this. But when you get into it, we'll see how quickly this company is growing and how quickly they could potentially grow into that valuation. We'll talk about all that now. So we've got 3 months ended here. Again, these are hot off the presses. Literally about 5 minutes ago, they just released these. I've taken a look at them and they're phenomenal. We've got 6 months ended here. We've got top line revenue here. We see we went from 145, that's 145 million, all the way up to 663 million. Guys, I can't do the math, but that is explosive growth. So we have some gross profit here. Obviously, we've had some expenses here. This is an extraordinarily high margin business because we spent 192 in the most recent quarter to make 663. That means we gross profit at $471 million. That is way up from the previous period where we did $117 million, call it 118. That is phenomenal growth year over year on a 3-month basis. For the 6-month basis, it is still holding true. That explosive growth is holding true because we did 216 and now we're up to, call it 696. Guys, that's over 300% growth over the last 6 months. You can see why this stock is absolutely soaring. Now, I think what's actually more impressive to me is a lot of times these companies, they blow a bunch of money on research and development, sales and marketing, and general administrative. And I say blow a bunch of money. I don't necessarily mean that they're wasting that money, but it appears to me that Zoom Video is keeping all of this very much in check. We saw revenues go from 118 to 471. That is like over a triple. That's like basically 300%. Now take a look at our total operating expenses right here. They went from 115 up to 283. So a little bit more than a double there. But again, we grew up here close to 300%. So it's absolutely keeping everything in control. And so we're actually making some net income. Take a look at this. We made 471 in the quarter. We had these other operating expenses here that came in at 283, minus all that out and pay some taxes, and you get to 185 on a net income basis. Okay, this is not counting for stock-based compensation, depreciation, some of this non-cash stuff that we'll talk about in the cash flows. This is absolutely great considering in the previous period, yes, we made 5.5 million and that's actually pretty good, but look, we're up to 180. I don't even know what the percentage gain that is. We went from 5.5 million up to $185 million in a year. That's phenomenal. And then for 6 months, the same thing held true. We made 695 million in gross profits. We spent another 484 in other expenses. We paid some taxes and some other stuff, and we made $213 million over the last 6 months. Compared to the previous 6 months, we made $7.7 million. This is why this stock is absolutely soaring to the upside. Now, you've been diluted a little bit as a shareholder. We went from 271 up to 282. We went from 192 all the way up to 281. That's not insignificant dilution, but some of that I'm sure is flowing down into the balance sheet, flowing to the employees. And look, they are absolutely delivering on the top line and the bottom line growth. This is absolutely phenomenal. I love what Zoom is doing here. Now, from a balance sheet perspective, let's see how healthy it is. Let's see if they've kind of cluttered this up any. This is at the beginning of the year in January, and then we've got 6 months later today in July. We had about $8 $800 million in cash. Now we're up to about a little over 1.5, even a little higher than that actually, in terms of cash. So that's really nice. Our total assets went from 1.2 billion up to 2.6 billion. So we basically actually doubled our total assets in a 6-month period. Okay, not a year's time, 6 months. They doubled their assets. Okay, total liabilities. We have some current liabilities here, and we've got total liabilities here. I don't really see anything really on here that's anything insignificant. We've got only $1.5 billion in liabilities. And again, we have that covered in cashola right now, not including accounts receivable and some prepaid expenses as well. So this is a company that, like a lot of tech stocks, is extraordinarily healthy from the balance sheet, is growing its top line faster than almost any company I've looked at in this earnings season, growing the bottom line probably faster than any company that I've looked at. This is absolutely phenomenal. Now let's look at the cash flows. As you can guess, these are absolutely sensational as well, because what happens is cash flows, if you don't know this, we pull down our net income numbers here. So we've got the 3-month here and we've got 6 months ended. So we pull down this net income number here, we pull this down, and then what they want to do is they want to show you, well, look, we paid some stock-based compensation. That's not cash. We paid some amortization. That's not cash. We made some charitable donations of common stock. Well, that's kind of nice of them. That's not cash either. So all this stuff is not necessarily cash. Look at this cash flow. For the 3 months, we made $31 million in cash flow. That was in the previous 3 months. This period, $400 million. Wow, that is absolutely phenomenal. And you can see for the 6 month, we went from 53 up to 660. That's absolutely amazing. Okay, so this stock is firing on all cylinders. They beat EPS, they beat revenue, they beat revenue growth. They basically knocked it out of the park. They hit a grand slam, and then they came up in their next at bat and they hit another one. That's basically what Zoom Video just did. Okay, so this stock has obviously been on a monster move like a lot of stock. It hesitated here for a second, and then boom, we've legged up again. Now it's, I couldn't find a trend line. This stock is just on an elevator ride. We're here today. This is where the stock closed today, and this is where this green bar is. We're really closer to up here is where the stock is actually trading at right now in the after hours. So that's about where we're at in the after hours. So we're continuing this trend upwards. Personally, if you've watched this channel for a long enough period of time, you know I don't like to buy stocks when the MACD is getting overextended, the RSI is going extended. Now, has it worked for you here with Zoom Video and with Tesla and with a number of different stocks? Absolutely. So if you want that strategy to work for you, by all means, go ahead and take that into account and let me be the one that sits on the sidelines with these types of things. But this stock has pulled back just in the last few months. It's pulled back several times over the last year or so. Personally, I would wait for that type of thing. The other thing, this is really, really important. Okay. So a company like Zoom Video and a lot of companies that are having explosive growth, the question now is, okay, how much growth have we pulled forward because of COVID-19 and things like that? You know, how much growth have we pulled forward now with these earnings? Are they going to be able to triple this again over the next 3 to 6 months? Are they going to be able to double it next year? That is the question. And this time next year, how much trouble is Zoom going to be able to beat this number by? Okay, people are buying this because it's a growth stock. Are they going to be able to beat this $600 million top line number a year from now? That's the question a lot of investors are going to start asking over the next 6 months. If you think they're going to double this number, triple this number over the next 12 months, then yeah, probably at the current share price, it's probably still a cheap stock. Okay, and that's what some investors are betting on. There's other investors that are going to question like, well, maybe they come in a little light. Maybe they only grow 10 or 20% next year. And that's definitely going to make the stock look far more expensive than it does today. So those are the things you want to think about. Same with the net income line as well. Are they going to be able to go from 5.5 million up to 185? Like, are they going to turn this into like $1 billion next year? I doubt they're going to be able to do it. In fact, I almost certain they're probably not going to be able to do that. So those are the questions you want to ask yourself if you're going to jump into these stocks that have had a huge run, huge momentum, pulled forward a huge amount of their valuation, and their price to sales ratio on this stock is at over 1,000. So, those are the things that you want to just think about a little bit, is how much have we pulled forward all this revenue and these earnings growth into the stock price. So that's all I would think about. It was a great quarter. I think that's the only bad thing you can say about this quarter, is it is so great. A year from now, it might be hard to top this type of performance, and we'll see how investors react at that time. But as you can see right now, investors are reacting extraordinarily positive. We're up 7% in the after hours. We were up 8% during the trading day. Pat yourself on the back if you've been long Zoom video. You've been absolutely crushing it. I would call your country club tomorrow, set up a tea time, and have a nice day. So there we go. That was Zoom video. We'll be back again soon with another video. Thanks for everybody. I think we're over 25,000 subscribers on the channel. I think a few months ago, I had like 1,000. So I just want to thank everybody out there for helping me out. So we'll see you guys again soon. Good luck with your investments.